Hi, and welcome to Tuesday's Pick a Card reading. Today the subject is do they fantasize about me? All right, this is a kind of a sexual question, right? And I'm sure that many of you have seen this deck before, featured on some other channels. It's called the Tarot of Sexual Magic, and it has some really racy pictures in it. I've selected a couple that are less racy but still very sexualized to give you an idea of what kind of images we're talking about. If I wanted to put images like this up on my video, I would have to make this 18 and older. That would create a restriction, and it would also mean that I would be dealing with some adult content, okay? I'm just personally not comfortable with that. So I just wanted to say, first off, I'm not going to be using a deck like that on this channel. And second, if you do want to give me some suggestions for readings, which I love, okay, just know that if it's going to be really sexual in nature, I might not do it. And it's just because of me wanting to really explore some of the other kinds of issues. Now, that doesn't mean it's totally off the board. It's just I'm not going to be using any highly sexualized decks or anything like that, okay? But yeah, we're going to be looking at whether or not they fantasize about you sexually, okay? Pile number 1 is a purple heart. It's a fluorite. Pile number 2 is the white opalite heart. Pile number 3 is the pink rose crystal heart, and pile number 4 is the black obsidian heart, okay? So while you're thinking about which pile you're going to go with, I just want to go ahead and say, as I usually do, anything you want to know about me is going to be in the description. That's contact information, information about my readings, timestamps, and that kind of thing. I also want to go ahead and let you guys know that I am going to be out of town on vacation for a little over a week. During that time, the turnover rate for filling orders is going to be just a little bit longer than usual. So yes, you can still make orders. It's just going to take a little bit longer for me to get back to you, okay? So let's get back to this reading, okay? So the reading is, do they fantasize about me, okay? And we're obviously talking about sexual fantasies, okay? So do they fantasize about me? Okay, so if you haven't picked your pile, go ahead and pause the video and think about that. Otherwise, we're going to go ahead and start with pile number 1, which is the purple fluorite heart. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and say up front here that I have like a window open behind me, and it's because the fresh air is just really invigorating for me right now. So if you hear anything out there or whatever, just know it's not distracting me. It's actually charging me up, so that's good. Okay, so for those of you who picked the first pile, we've got Strength and the Star. So these are really, really major arcana cards. And another thing about this is that when you've got the star, the star comes out right after the Tower card. And I think this is a really important thing to keep in mind. I really am fond of the journey of the Fool through the major arcana, that story. And what happens with the star is that you've got the tower, and the tower falls down, and all of those walls that are built up around this person are completely shattered, and they're completely vulnerable, right? And so that's why in the cards, the star card, the figure in the star card is nude. They're vulnerable, okay? Strength is an interesting card because when we think about strength, sometimes we think about that brute force, the real huge, the huge muscles and that kind of strength. This is kind of a more gentle strength. It's something that is more. It's more like, I mean, how much stronger would you be if you were right next to a lion to tame it versus using force, right? Excuse me. So that's what's going on here, okay? The answer to the question about whether or not they fantasize about you is yes, okay? Excuse me, I'm sorry. Yes, because they find you somebody who they like to imagine what you look like without any clothes on, and their fantasies about you is very gentle. It's not like rough or anything like that. It's very gentle. It's a kind of it's kind of a loving fantasy, okay? Um your next card is lightning. Oh, you've got some power over this person. That's something that entices them. You're not only do you have power over this person, but you're also a very powerful person. When you speak your mind, you do it with a sort of like a conviction, right? That is really overwhelming and really amazing to this person. Lightning's more about the mind and about communication. So the way that you express yourself is something that's very powerful to them. You might be a very talented writer, you might be a poet or something like that, but they like the way that you express yourself, okay? And what they like about you is, oh, they've got some intuition. They like the way that you think. They like the way you perceive the world. You have a kind of a unique perspective of what goes on around you, and it's like you connect things that they wouldn't have thought to connect. Yet when you do it, it makes so much sense. It's very logical. It falls into place, but it's like you think of things that they would have never thought of. Okay, so when I'm looking at this energy and I'm thinking about this, do they sexually fantasize about you? Do they fantasize about you? I think that they do, but I don't think it's a whole lot. I think that right now it's more in that area where it's very, very intellectual. It's very like intriguing. You definitely have a hold on this person. This person is definitely attracted to you. They want to do something with you. It's very strong. But when they do fantasize about you, it's kind of it's very tame. They don't they might be a person that just has a low libido, a low sex drive, and that's just who they are. Or it might be somebody who doesn't care as much about that stuff. Or it could just be somebody who doesn't want to. It's almost like they might feel like kind of bad for fantasizing about you, that kind of thing. But you've got these major arcana cards, and the major arcana cards lets me know that this is a big deal, this relationship, okay? What you have with this person is a big deal. So this is going to stick around, okay? This is going to be something that you can continue to pursue, and just, I mean, really, if anything, know that you can feel very confident that you're very, very enticing to this person, okay? And if anything else, they'd love to know what you look like without your clothes on. And if they know that already, they like to think about that, all right? Okay. So, pile number 2, those of you who picked the white heart, which is opalite, we're going to go ahead and see whether or not they fantasize about you, okay? I picked 2 cards for all the other piles, but 3 cards wanted to come out for you, so I'm going with it, okay? So in this situation, we've got the 4 of Pentacles, we've got the King of Swords, and we've got the 3 of Cups. Okay. The person that you're thinking about, no, I don't know if this is like, this might not be accurate for all of you, but the kind of person that I'm getting, based on what I'm getting here, is a kind of person that's very thought-oriented, maybe kind of dry, maybe somebody who doesn't really look like they're all that passionate, doesn't look like they're all that feeling-oriented, but maybe somebody who's kind of also very, very smart, like very sharp-witted, that kind of thing. And they say what they mean when they talk. They don't sugarcoat things. They say what they mean. This person definitely thinks about you a lot, okay? And they want to hold on to you, okay? They see you as something that is like just such a gift to them, and they really, really want to hold on to that. And so the answer to that question, do they fantasize about you? They certainly think about you a lot. We'll see what these other cards show, but they definitely think about you a lot. You've got the King of Swords. He is like the master of his thoughts, okay? So you're definitely in their mind. And you've got the 3 of Cups, which, you know, is a very joyful, celebratory card. So when you are on their mind, they definitely feel good. They feel really, really good. And this kind of possessiveness that comes out in the Four of Pentacles, I think that they might be prone to jealousy too. So it's kind of an interesting, that's kind of an interesting dynamic. With the Three of Cups coming out, I do have to say there might be another person in the picture. This might be somebody, like the person that you're thinking about might be married, or maybe you're married, and that might be one reason why the fantasy isn't coming out so strong, at least not so far yet. So I just wanted to point that out. I don't really feel like that's what the Three of Cups means for most of you. I think that for most of you, what it means is that it's just, they just, oh gosh, they feel so great when they think about you. And I think even for those of you who are in a third party situation, they still feel joy when they think about you. It's just a really, it just feels very light. And given that you're dealing with somebody who's kind of cutting and kind of dry and, you know, very almost robotic and that kind of thing, it's kind of nice to see those two things contrasted there, okay? Oh my goodness. Okay, here's what's going. They're in love with you. This person's in love with you. Okay? So, like, yeah, they fantasize about you, but when they're thinking about you, it's more like they want you. They want you in their life. They want, this is a whole package kind of thing, okay? That's why we weren't getting anything like overly sexual, is because when they're thinking about you, they're not just thinking about, you know, a fantasy of being with you like that. They're not just thinking about, you know, oh, I kind of like this person, or this person's attractive, or anything like that. They're falling in love with you, okay? This is somebody that needs that emotion to be there in order to you know, get to that sexual energy too. And I feel like there's an element going on here between the two of you where it's not really clear that that love is there, or it was clear at one point and now it's kind of gotten a little muddied. So just kind of understand that this person that you're thinking about has some very, very tender feelings for you. Given that they're the kind of person that is more thinking oriented than feeling oriented, this might feel a little scary. It might feel a little weird for them. They might not be as eager to share it with you and that kind of thing. But it is there and it will be acknowledged. And okay, here we go. Dreams. Sometimes you've got people that think so much about somebody and all of that kind of stuff, and maybe they don't outright fantasize, but they end up having very sexual dreams about that person. I think that this might be something that's going on with your person. Whether it's sexual in nature or not, they definitely dream about you a lot, okay? You're definitely in their unconscious and in their conscious mind. You just permeate all layers of their psyche, and I think that that's a good thing. The only thing that comes up here that I would just be cautious about, if you've had some negative experiences in the past, this person is a kind of a jealous person, kind of possessive. I don't feel like this is the kind of person that would be toxic with it, but some people just don't like jealous people. That's just the way they are. They just don't like it. So if that's the kind of person that you're not really into, then make sure that you set those boundaries and let them know that this is a friendship, or this is, or maybe walk away from the situation, because that can be difficult to go through for some people. So yeah, I mean, this looks really positive. Unfortunately, I'm not getting a huge yes on like, oh yeah, they're totally thinking about you sexually all the time. What I am getting is that they do dream about you and they think about you, and yeah, they feel love for you. There's that potential for love. Those channels are open. He or she is very receptive to you. So yeah, this is definitely a positive situation for you. Okay, alrighty. So, those of you who picked pile number 3, we're going to go ahead and look at this situation, and we're going to find out if they fantasize about you, okay? All right. We've got the Two of Cups here, and we've got the Eight of Swords. This is an interesting, this is a really interesting spread with just the tarot here. Because when you've got the Two of Cups, you've got that very tender feeling, you've got the coupling, you've got the two people coming together and sharing this gift with one another. This is almost like a better card to get than the Lovers when you're talking about a romance spread. It's definitely very, very, very positive. But then you've got the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Swords is about getting kind of tangled up in your mind, not really knowing what to do, and like kind of like it's really simple, you know? Like, this person isn't actually locked up. This person's just surrounded by swords. It's like a fake prison, right? So it's like they've got themselves stuck in a web of thoughts, and they feel stuck, they feel like they're kind of trapped in the situation, that kind of thing. But at the same time, they're just overcomplicating this, okay? And this is on their side. This isn't on your side. So you might be overcomplicating it too and overthinking. You might be that kind of person, but this is talking about their energy. I just want to clarify that. Do they fantasize about you? Well, they certainly see a future with you. That's for sure. Let's go ahead and look at these cards to see if we can get some clarity there. And also, I wanted to say, for each deck, I only pulled one, but for some reason for you, it came out as two. So we've got New Beginnings, okay, and Shape-Shifting, which is Dawn and Clouds, okay? So yeah, I feel like they have stirrings of sexual feelings for you, but I just don't feel like they, it's not like an obvious answer. It's not like an obvious thing like, oh yeah, they absolutely fantasize about you. It's more like they plan. They see a future with you. They're looking forward to the things that they can do with you, and they're just really stuck in their thoughts. Sometimes when you're up in your head, and that's what you're doing, you just can't, like, there's a disconnect between the mind and the body. This might actually be a person that spends a lot more time in their mind than they do in their body, and they're just not as, they might not have as strong of a sexual drive, or maybe as strong as a sexual awareness. But they're definitely attracted to you, definitely, and they definitely have some plans for the future. And something new is going to happen between the two of you sometime in the next 2 weeks. So, and for those of you who are watching this and it's not the day that it goes up, just know this is timeless. So whatever time you're watching this, whether it's 10 years in the future or it's the day that it goes up, I mean 2 weeks from the time that you're watching this, okay? There's something new that's going to happen. The clouds, that goes with shape-shifting, right? This is kind of an interesting card because I kind of feel like this does give some impressions about fantasy. I really feel like one thing that they really love about you is how multifaceted you are, how many layers you have. You have such a depth of character, and you're always like surprising them, and they really like that about you. They just love peeling away every single layer, okay? And with the shape-shifting, you know, you think about kids looking up at clouds, or maybe adults, you know, you don't necessarily have to be a kid to do it, and you see things in the clouds. It's like, I really feel like when they do have those kinds of thoughts about you, it's when they're looking at you, or they're looking at a picture of you or something like that, and they imagine things like that. But I don't really feel like I don't get a sense, you know, not to be crass or anything, but I don't get a sense that they're, you know, by themselves imagining you and that's it. You know, I get a sense that if they do fantasize about you, it's more like while you're actually there, or while they're maybe looking at a picture of you, or they're reminded of you or something like that. There's like a presence there. There's something that starts that fantasizing that's actually rooted in the physical. So when I was talking about how maybe this person just isn't, you know, they're in their mind a lot, and they're not as in touch with the physical, that might be what's going on here. You might be just dealing with somebody. I've noticed this. I'm not saying all introverts are like this at all, but I've just noticed that introverts tend to be less in touch with their physical bodies. This isn't all of them at all, okay? We've all known that person that dresses in black and they've got a motorcycle and they're introverted and they like hardly ever talk, but they are just about as sexual as you can be. So I'm not talking about all introverts, okay? But what I am saying though is that this person just they might be kind of aloof even sometimes, or kind of maybe even oblivious sometimes, but they do definitely see that with you, okay? It just comes out in a different way than just, just being there and thinking about you sexually, and that's it, right? And then we've got, ooh, intention. So one thing, now this card is supposed to describe what it is that they like about you, okay? One thing they like about you is that you get stuff done. You do it. You'll have an idea of what you want to do, and then you just get it done, and they're really wowed by that. They're wowed about all the things that you can accomplish. And please don't feel like you're some kind of fraud or whatever and be like, oh my gosh, but I don't accomplish things. I'm not really that accomplished, really. I'm not. The person perceives you that way, okay? There's some kind of power that you have that to them makes them feel like you're very good at manifesting what you desire, and you're somebody who would be very, very successful in whatever you do. And it's not as successful like, oh, they care about how much money you make or anything like that. It's more like they see you as just really creating the world around you, and really putting things into your environment that you get back that are positive. So this would be a kind of person that sees, for example, you might be a very, very kind person, and you're very kind to all the people that you're around, and then you get that kindness in return, okay? So that's what's going on with this person, okay? I just got a flash of intuition, and I just wanted to say, this person this is so specific. It's like, I can't believe that I'm saying this. But this person might want to, like, I'm sorry, this is really intense. I usually get this with private reads, but I don't usually get this when I'm doing just these general reads. I'm seeing like there's a person, and they have a hotel room. It's like they've come to see you. I don't get that there's a whole lot of distance between you, but there's like some kind of distance, and they've come into the room, and maybe it's their hotel room, or maybe it's yours. Either way, it's like you guys are meeting there, and you're talking, and then you'll have some kind of argument, and then it's like that's when there's some kind of sexual encounter. It's so specific. It can't be for everybody, okay? I can't imagine that every single person that picks this pile is going to have this particular event happen. But that's what I'm getting. If that's something that's happened to you in this situation with your person, just know that is something that they think about a lot. If this hasn't happened, know that might happen in the future. And if that has happened, but it's happened with somebody else that you've been with before, there's like been some kind of like tryst in a hotel like that, know that this person's going to remind you of them sexually in some way, okay? I apologize because that is like so specific, and I usually don't say that, but it just had to come out. I'm sure those of you who are watching who are also readers understand completely exactly how that works. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line here is it's positive, okay? You're going to get some new beginnings. The Two of Cups is very, very good. Yeah, they overthink things, but they're really, I mean, they're really taken with you, okay? And they really like you. They see you as a very successful, powerful person when it comes to being able to manifest what you desire, all right? All right, guys, those of you who picked pile 4, the Obsidian Heart, let's go ahead and see. Do they fantasize about you? Oh, I'm so glad that I got these cards because it's very obvious. Yes, they do. They fantasize about you. They have a longing for you. There might be some kind of length or long distance thing going up. You've got this person who's holding a globe. They might be they might have to travel to see you or something like that. I don't think that applies to most of you. I think that just applies to maybe like, I don't know, maybe a third of you. Then we've got the Five of Rods. What's kind of interesting about the Five of Rods is that there's like, is that on one way to interpret it is there's a bunch of people and they're competing. Another way to interpret it is there's a bunch of people and they're playing. And one way to interpret it is there's a bunch of people and they're fighting, right? There's this kind of, energy between the two of you where when you guys have a little bit of conflict or a little bit of competition, or when you're being very, very playful, it's like that sexual energy goes way up. So just kind of keep that in mind. I'm not saying to go out and start a fight with your person. I'm just saying that sometimes that's very it just wakes up their body. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. You've got meadow vulnerability. They see you as somebody who they want to really protect. They really want to be that person for you. They want to make sure that you're okay. Those of you who are asking about a woman, this woman wants to nurture you. They want to make sure that like when you're sick, that they want to make sure that you're totally taken care of. They want to make sure that you, I don't know, like you get enough sleep, and that you're dressed well, and that all of that. So they just want to take care of everything for you. They want to cook for you, that kind of thing. They just want to dote on you, okay? And for those of you who are inquiring about a male, they want to protect you. They want to treat you in a way that is it's like chivalry is coming up, okay? They want to be very gallant with you, okay? So it's very sweet. It's a very sweet energy. And then you've got grace. Oh my goodness, they love the way you move. This card I pulled for a specific to find out, what is it that they like about you. They like the way you move. You have a very sensual way of moving. Your body is very sensual. They like your body. Most of you, I feel like, might be young. And when I say that, I mean maybe 35 and younger. Those of you who are older than that, though, I would say you have a very playful, almost innocent kind of energy about you. And that's very alluring to this person, that they see that you're kind of innocent, a little bit childish, maybe. And I'm not saying that they're into that kind of like weird stuff. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that they like that you have that purity. That's something that they really value. There's so many people who they've met that are just maybe like really, really cynical, or just really sour, or maybe it's something as simple as that you just don't curse a lot, you just don't use swear words, or there's something very pure, very graceful about you, very elegant. It's like you're a quality person, that kind of thing, that they're attracted to. And I think that makes them feel like you're vulnerable because you're just so unique. So yeah, they definitely fantasize about you. They long for you. They really pine after you. This would be the kind of person that would kind of look you up on social media a little bit, or try to find you, like, I don't know, like if you, let's say that you're an artist and you have an art show, they'd want to go to your art show just to see, like, what kind of things that you would paint. Or let's say you're in the newspaper, they might save the newspaper clipping. But I feel like, with the modern times and everything, it's more like social media, like kind of doing that. I don't feel like it's not to like create conflicts or to be meddlesome or anything like that. It's just a sincere desire to just try to get to know you better. So just know that they want to know you better. They think about you sexually. They think that they want to protect you. They want to take care of you, and they find you very elegant. Okay, so you've got some good stuff going on with this one. Alrighty. Alright, guys, thank you so much for staying to the end of my video. I am always very thankful for those of you who decide to go ahead and leave comments, like, and subscribe. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job, and I celebrate every single subscription. I still do that, because, every single one of you that give me that feedback, let me know, yes, I'm doing exactly what I'm supposed to. I'm a positive force in the world, and my idea to create this channel was a good one, and all of that kind of good stuff. I do have a sense internally of peace with that, and I know that this is what's right for me, but at the same time, it always helps to get that thumbs up or that pat on the back letting me know that, yeah, I'm doing a good job here. So I just want to thank you guys so much for all the support. I really, really appreciate it. I'll go ahead and see you on Thursday for the next pick a card reading.